Hey guys, Rob here from Hunt Shoot Offroad, and today we're going to do our very first episode of Conversations With. And today we are having a conversation with a shooter and hunter, and it's Hunting with Stu. And I'd just like to thank you very much for coming over to the channel and having a chat with us, Stu. So welcome aboard.
No worries, mate. Pleased to be here.
Now it's funny. I've been following you for a very long time. I believe I was like the 43rd or 47th subscriber. I think you only had like 1 or 2 videos out at the time, and it was late one night, and I found you by chance, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best pig shooting I've ever seen, and I think I couldn't wait long enough for your next video to come out. I think it took a couple of weeks, and you did one, and you were releasing videos pretty much back to back. I think every 2 or 3 weeks, or maybe once a month.
Yeah, but short, 2 to 4 minutes.
Yeah, but they're best 2 to 4 minutes of my life at that point. So, and I think I asked for you to do an interview for my blog at the time, and
that's right.
You did that. I think you were on about 1,000 subscribers at the time, and I thought, man, this guy is killing it. He's so good. And after that, after I did that interview with you, I think it really blew up after that. Not saying my interview is what accelerated it, but obviously
it would have had a bit to do with it, mate.
Oh no, I don't think so.
I subscribed to you.
Oh well, then that boosted me up one. So, but then obviously I think within a month you're at like 4,500 views, and I think from there it just really accelerated. And it's funny, I've watched so many of your videos. I recognise every spot of the property. I know I'm like, oh, there's the gate. I bet you there's pigs under that tree, and sure enough, pigs jump up, and they're it's
there
all on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So that's why I've been pretty excited to have an actual face-to-face conversation with you. It's because you hunt very much like I hunt. It's a very similar style of hunting, and so that's what I guess I really enjoy about it. I'm not a dogger by any stretch of the imagination, but all my mates are, and you're in there with the guns, and you're slaying the pigs. It's great.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, it's very close in the front of our mind with the farmer, because he often rings us up and he says, when are you coming out? Because he sees mobs of pigs, and so he relies on us to lay out as many as we can. So we help him out as best we can. So that's our main effort, is to get as many pigs as possible.
Of course,
the ones that do get away, I don't mind that, because I'll try my best. But if they do get away on me, I just toast them that night.
Yeah, and I think that's where I see something that's very different between what you're doing, which aligns very closely with what I'm doing. I feel like you're not going for the trophy boars. You're not letting the little ones go. Yeah. You're shooting as many as you can. The little ones, the big ones. Obviously, you're taking preference to the big ones first, but you're not letting I've heard the term. There's a term slipper, and it's a term where you get a little pig and you let it slide, and I've never seen you do that, and I think that's fantastic.
Well, the farmer, we get in trouble with him. He'll say, little pigs turn into big pigs within 6 months. So,
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, the farmer from the property we shot on at Gundawinda, he said a pig is a pig is a pig. That was always his saying.
Right. Yeah.
And like you said, I think within 9 months of them being born, I believe they can have their first offspring.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that's a very quick cycle. I did the maths on it, and I think in about 18 months you can go from 2 pigs to like 42 or something. Like, it's ridiculous.
The females can breed 3 times a year, have 10, 15 pigs. It's bloody unreal. Mm.
Yeah, they can be pregnant while they're still being suckled. So
and in some areas the only predator they've got is meat.
That's right. So it's really cool. So look, there was a couple of things I wanted to chat to you about today. Look, I mean, there's so many things we could talk about. I've got so many questions, and you probably got all the answers. And but I thought we'd just start with a couple of things. And what I saw a comment come up in one of your latest videos was they said, "Oh, here's the old rusty silver scope," and I just was like, I think one of the things I like about you is you've got your old faithful guns, you've got your old quad bike, you've got your old kayak, and originally you were in a Kia Carnival or something like that.
Yeah, Kia Sportage. Well, that's the missus's car.
Yeah. And so I just think I'd like to touch on the fact that, it's for me, it's just you need to just get out there and hunt. You don't need the best equipment. You just need some equipment, and you need a property. So I thought maybe we could touch on maybe what you're using, how old it is, and how it still works, and how it's extremely reliable.
Yeah, well, the 3006, it's featured a lot in the clips, and I bought that brand new in 1992.
Now that's the one, the wood stock with the black scope.
That's the standard bolt action Ruger 3006 with the silver scope on it.
The one with the silver scope.
I've since updated the silver scope, because that silver scope, I'll tell you now, that was, my brother gave me that, and it fell off the back of a truck, and he got it for like $70. And there's a no-name brand scope, which is straight 6, and I shot so many pigs and deer and goats and stuff like that. And I think I conned myself into thinking it was starting to shoot off. And then my brother-in-law, Dave, he gave me he had a spare Burris full field 2, 3-9, and he said, "Look, Stu, you can have this," because he likes watching me clips as well. And so I pulled off the silver one and put on the Burris, and that's where that came from. So, yeah.
Okay, so it's the same gun, obviously. There's the old clips coming back through.
Yeah, and that Ruger, it has not missed a beat, and it was only just the last trip we've just got back, a couple of months ago, a month or so ago. I decided to unscrew the things out of the wood and out of it, so I pulled the barrel and all this wood stock off, cleaned all the stock up, and you blokes will think it's a new rifle, but it's the first time I've ever done it since 1992.
Yeah, well, but you obviously...
Steve and Pud, his brother, they are meticulous with their rifles, and because Steve's got a Ticker T3, and they're pulling it through, and they're using sweets and things, and they're going to the range. I don't go to the range. The first shot is, if I can hit a 4-inch target at 30 metres, that's a heart lung with 150 metres running. So,
well, that's what they call a minute of pig.
Yeah, that's a head of a pig. So, but I'm not a precision shooter. But having said that, I am very accurate when it comes. Everything sort of just comes into place, and I prefer like it to hold the rifle rather than lean it up against something. Because if you lean it up against something, part of your body's leaning and the other half's not. So I like to be one with the rifle, which means you've got to everything let go, and you just it's an extension of your arm basically.
Yeah, and now you're obviously doing your own reloads for that. That's, yeah. And what are you using? 2208?
Well, 30. It's I prefer whatever powder is going. Like I often, my main gun shop is, I've got bullets and bits in Orange because that's my hometown, but I don't live there. I live in Sydney. But my main gun shop is Terry Hill's gun shop, so Paul Britton, and I buy most of my stuff off him. And I've sold him a lot of heads. I went in there the first time a few years ago, so I'm part of the fire brigade. And I said, "Oh, there's a gun shop here, mate." And he goes, "Yeah, mate, yeah," because he was part of the gun shop as well. And I said, "What's a gun shop without any heads?" So if ever you go to Terry Hill's gun shop, all the heads that are in his shop, he's bought off me. So kudu and samba and whatever he's got from me, like samba, fallow, hog deer.
I'm going to have to go there just to see.
Yeah, a bit of Africa. Yeah. So he's bought all my heads. Not all of them, he just bought some to fill out that thing. But so I get powder from him, projectiles, primers, and all that sort of stuff. We've played around with projectiles, and Steve, actually, he's good to talk to too because he gets more into it than me with the ballistics. But I've tried out 130 grainers. He's tried out 180, 200 grainers. This is all to do with 30-06 or 30 cal, and we've all settled on the 150 grainer. So a well-constructed 150 grain projectile is all you need. And I normally go 1 or 2 grains above the minimum recommended load. I'm not a fast sort of high-powered bloody, high velocity. I just want to stick just above the minimum load, and that just does me every time. Yeah,
so that's how I've done my load developments. I do the groups of 5, and I've gone all the way up to max. And I've always found that they're most accurate at the lower to middle end of it. And you just don't run into the problems of high pressures and all that sort of stuff like that.
No, that's right. Yeah.
I think it keeps your gun a bit cooler.
Steve will often play around with velocities, and he'll sometimes pull the ends off his bloody things and flatten his primers, and he'd go, "Oh God, I wonder what's happening here." And I said, "Well, what grain are you using, mate?" And it'll be like 5 times more than mine. Yeah, but
So you're mostly running like just a soft point, or you're using ballistic tips, or just?
Yeah, just normal. Yeah, just normal, like lead tip. You know, sometimes I have used ballistic tip ones.
Well, that's what. So I just bought a 500, 125 grainers for my 308. The only reason I got 125 grain was because that was the cheapest I could get, and they're just a soft point. And I've always had the best success with soft points, I think.
Yep.
I think a lot of people overthink the ammunition when it's more about how good you can shoot it.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah. And as I was saying before, all I literally, I shoot, if I can shoot something in at 30 metres, that big, which is bloody easy, but it's hard at 200 metres running. But if I can hit it at 30 metres, I know I should be able to hit it at 200 metres running. So that's all I do. Whereas Steve likes to get it down to thumbnail size, out to 100 metres type thing. But he still sort of leans and, but he's 100% what he used to be.
Now he's way more into getting it more accurate. Is he shooting more pigs?
He came out with us the first trip. He's not missed a trip with us since he started. And it's just another story. Actually, I'll finish off on the rifles before we go to this, and then remind me about the story about how Steve and I got to.
All right. Did you see the sign I made for you?
I think it was nice, mate. Good work.
But the camera blurs it out when I lean into focus. So.
Oh, good. So then the other rifle I've got is a 30-30. So I got given.
Now that's a Marlin or a Winchester?
No, it's a Winchester Model 94.
Okay, yeah, because top eject.
Top eject. I got given that for Christmas. Dad gave it to me Christmas '76.
Wow.
So I was born in '62, so I was like 14 years old. It might have been Christmas '78. I think I was 16 years old. And because I used to love the gold 30-30s and the John Wayne movies and all that type of stuff.
Yeah. My father-in-law, he's got all that stuff, all the golden boys, and he's into his cowboy action.
I could probably hand on my heart. Definitely shot triple figures. I've shot at least 1,000 pigs with that 30-30.
Wow.
And just open sights. I've done some big long range shots with it, but the 30-30 is similar to a 303 with the ballistics, but because it's a carbine, it's a small barrel and whatever, I normally only shoot 100 metres.
Yeah.
But it's deadly. Yeah.
And just 150 grains on that as well?
150 grains soft points, yeah. And if I see hollow points, I'll buy hollow points because they just got a sound and just go whack, they're always hitting him in the head anyway, so sometimes I'll do a chest shot. Like Steve will often say, God, your shots are always up here and mine are always half a second.
My nickname's Gutshot Bob, so I'm not sure where that came from.
Yeah. Well, Pud was a bit like that too, because he goes, bloody, it's big down anyway. And I'm slowly starting to teach him, just like his brother, Steve, that I prefer one shot, one kill, and not one shot, another shot, and then you get 5, and then you go and finish them off. If you can shoot them in the head, shoot them in the head. Yeah, and then the Adler, of course, it's only new on the scene because I had an old AIC cowboy gun, and that was a shot. It looked good.
Well, I think I converted you to the Adler. I remember you posted on there, and I saw yours jamming, which was the same. Yeah. So I bought my IAC back in 2006, and I used to use it all the time, and it would jam. It would get stuck when it would go to lift, and you have to get in there, throw it out, and then go again. Yeah. And your video, I saw your video in the kayak, and I said to you, you need to get an Adler. And you're like, oh, someone mentioned it. I said, mate, they are so good. You got to go have a look at one. Yeah. And then, sure enough, your next video, you had an Adler, and you were smashing pigs.
That's right. And then I put a sort of string stuff, what do they call it, the paracord.
Yep.
Paracord. I made up a bloody thing on the actual lever, so it didn't hurt my knuckles as much.
Did you watch my video for that as well?
Probably. And I think I probably did actually. I might have used, I probably watched yours and then went off because I did it on YouTube. Yeah. And anyway, that worked for a while. And then the ICE guys, the
ICE engineering,
Ignition Customs engineering guys in South Australia, they sent me a text and said, look, we want to send you a bloody slip kit, which is just a series of little springs. And they did, they sent it out, and I got Paul Britton at Terry Hill to put it in, and it's made it so much better. So
wow.
They're just a sturdy gun, they're just great.
Oh, a lot of people say that they're just cheap Turkish rubbish, but I mean, ultimately, what are you going to buy? A Chiapa that still jams?
Yeah.
There isn't another option for us, is there? No. I mean, except for like a Pardus or a Uzcon.
You've got the backup supply in Australia too. Like you can get those, the Pardus and whatever, but there's no spare parts in Australia. Whereas Adler got a lot of support in Australia. So
5-year warranty.
Can't that's right. Yeah,
I've got 2 of them.
Yeah, cool. Well, they got the straight pulls now, but people often ask me what's the better, and I actually often tell them the straight pull is probably better, but I just still think they're semi-autos that don't work anymore.
Well, for me, I think, why would I want a gun where I've got to go like this, or go like this, when I could be like, you know what I mean? Like,
you
know, it's. I think, you know, you've got semi-autos, pumps, levers, anything else.
That's right.
And so I think the lever action is going to be better than a straight pull, but that's my personal opinion. But I've always used lever actions and pump actions.
Well, I used to have right-handed bolt rifle. I used to have a 243 Parker Hale before I got the 306, and it was a right-handed bolt, and I bought it off Dad. So I would shoot, and that's probably where I get my habit from with dropping the rifle, because
because you're left-eye dominant as well, aren't you?
I'm left-handed, yeah. So I'd shoot, and then I'd drop it a little bit to do the bolt from the right side, and just do it like that. So I think I've still got that habit with the left-handed, so I don't need to do that, but I still do.
Yeah. I was actually noticing you do that in the video, because I think a while ago, heaps of people getting up, you don't unshoulder the gun, and I bet. But then I always get a few that
reply to them saying, "Hey, what are you doing telling Stu you can't shoot yourself?"
Well, that's exactly right, isn't it? So just sort of the 30-30. The 36 and the Adler.
And the Adler, that's all I've got. Yeah. I've never been one. I think at any one time I've only had 3 or 4 rifles against over the time. I've never owned a 22. I have done time in the army, so I was a gunslinger when I was in the army, and they did a sell off of old war stocks 303. So I bought a 303 for $50, full wood, with an 18-inch barrel, 18-inch bayonet. But I gave that to Dad, and he still got it. So I just don't need to buy that. I've tossed it around my head thinking of getting a Seiko or a Succo bloody Hunter, but I don't bloody need to now, because this one just
keeps shooting.
The Ruger's just too good.
Well, it's like I'm at the. I have bought more guns. I won't lie. It's not like I've stopped, but recently I was speaking to my mates, and he's like, man, he goes, stop buying guns, stop spending money on your guns, and buy diesel. Just get out there, and it's like, I think so. I mentioned to you yesterday over the phone, like I've shot more pigs over the last 18 months than I have probably nearly in the rest of my life, just by hitting the road, just getting out to the properties and just going and shooting. And that's what I guess I wanted to cover off is like, and you're a prime example of, don't waste your money on all the bits and pieces, and you don't have 10-shot magazines. You don't have, just like top load magazine, and I think that's the way to go. Like, especially if you're using a spotlighting gun, which is not something you get into at all, but just you can chuck another 3 or 4 in there just as quick as anything. But normally, by the time you've shot like 3 or 4 times, most of the time they're scattered unless you're able to chase them on a vehicle. So it's kind of pointless.
Well, that 30-06, it's a 5-round capacity. But I have very rarely used 5-round. I normally put 4 in it, and that's it. 4 in it, and then I shuffle 1 into the spout. So there's 3 in the mag, 1 in the spout when I start shooting. And then often when there's a pause I'll just have a little bag that I just grab my rifles out, empties in this side, loaded ones in this side, and I just dive my hand in, grab 2 or 3 out, and just chuck them, Whereas I often see he'll unload his mag and have another full one, but by the time he can do that, I've put 2 more in as well. So,
actually, I've got to. So, are you? So you're catching all your shells where possible, or are you losing a lot?
Normally, when I shoot, I have if I've got time and I'm not so excited, because I still get bloody excited. But I'll fire a shot, and as I pull the bolt back, I've had my hand there, and then I'll catch one, and I can do that 2 or 3 times. But normally, if a big ball busts out or there's 6 pigs instead of 1, I'll just bloody brass just flies out, and then I have a quick look around and go, oh, bugger. And that's like natural attrition for me. So I will reload. If I've got a reloaded rounds there that's more than 4 or 5 reloads, well, then they've done pretty well because they haven't been flicked out in the bush. So I'll buy a packet of 20 once a year just to keep them stocked up. I'll keep about 100, 150 rounds. Yeah. And by the attrition of flicking the odd one out, it keeps those cases new, sort of thing. And I'll only buy packets of 20. I'll never buy brass because brass is just ridiculous because you're paying twice the amount and you've still got to fill it with powder and primer and projectile, whereas you can buy a packet of ammo for $40 and there's your brass.
Okay, and will you just run them through the gun and not worry about resighting? Like you'll just fire them off amongst it?
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, and in fact, there are times there where I've had 130 grainers finishing off some 130s, 150 still in there, and then Steve's given me a couple of 180 because I've run out of rounds. And there might be a day where we shot 40, 50 pigs and I've run out of like 20 or 30 rounds that I've taken out. So he'll chuck me a couple of 180 grain. So there's been times where I've fired 180, 130, 150. But you're only talking, you're still going to hit them in the head at running at 150 metres.
Well, still minute of pig.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, exactly.
So, that's fantastic. Now, what was the story? You're going to tell me about the story when you met Steve.
Well, with Steve. So his missus, I was a physical training instructor in the army for a while as well, and his missus was a physical training instructor as well. So we were both working together at Wagga, and his missus actually said to me, he said, because Steve was in the army as well, but I never really saw him much because he was up doing different things, whereas Izzy used to work with me in the gym. And she said, you need to come around because Steve's got this rifle he's made up for pigs. And I went, oh, right, yeah, one day, so, I took a six-pack around one day and Steve, how you going, mate? Yeah, I have seen you around, And I said, where's this rifle you've got? And he had this stock rifle with a thumb hole in it and bloody the whole lot. And it's sort of a step barrel, just to make it a bit lighter and what. I said, oh, yeah, bloody nice. Topped off with a 4 power, something like that. And
was it like a 30-30?
No, 30-06, bolt action.
But like an ex-military one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so sporterised.
Yeah, and I said, geez, yeah, you've made it up for pigs. And he said, yeah. And I said, so how's it going? Pigs? He goes, I've never shot one. I said, you've never shot a pig, but you got a pig rifle yet? And I said, we need to do something about that, mate. And he went, bloody oath, So then he came out with us and was just jaw, because Dad's a better shot than me. Dad will shoot the head off bloody roos or emus or what with the 270. He's a 270. He would just head shoot everything, and all head shoot, chest shoot type thing. And Steve just couldn't believe the running shots, because if you don't do running shots, well, then you're not going to get pigs. And I think he got one pig out of that trip, and he was just dumbfounded. He said, I'm never ever going to be able to do this. I said, Steve, just have a go at it, And then he got better and better. Now he's bloody really good, but he's still resting. He leaned across the quad. You might have seen that video hunting with Steve I put up, because a lot of blokes thought it was me missing a lot of shots. I said, hey, Steve. But no, he's come along really well. So that's where we all started. And he has not, that was back in, so I was at Wagga from 96 to 2000. So it would have been late 90s. Steve's been coming out with us and has not missed a trip. He lives for these trips. Like, I love going out, but those trips, it's just like, bloody great. And then now that he's got his brother involved as well, because his brother's a truck driver, and he's the same as Steve. He's just watching all the videos and just going, bloody hell, Steve will send a photo when we shoot a few pigs and you go, you bastard, Now he's out with us. And when you were saying before about, looking at the fences and the gates and whatever, he's doing that in real time, going, oh, this is on, hunting with Stu, buddy. So he's loving it. So he's bought all the rifles and bloody night vision and thermals. He's spent stacks. And a quad. He bought a brand new quad, so he's all geared out now. And that quad I've got is Steve's old one. So if you look at our old videos where I'm sitting in the back with Steve, that was that one that I ride now.
Yeah, and
he's updated, and I've got his old one.
Well, that was classic when you had that video and you go, that thing's where the fuel goes in, and then it goes bang, and then boom, wheel goes around.
Wheel goes around, and the bloke,
I was laughing my head off.
Well, I said I'd love $1 every time I've changed the carby, because I'm one of these guys that just, the mechanic has got the job, I take the car to the mechanic, and he bloody fixes it, I don't tinker with anything like that.
Why not when other people do it for you, eh?
That's right.
Just get back to hunting.
Yeah, yeah. But I've been hunting, like I've been hunting. Oh God, I actually can't remember the first pig I shot. There's a photo of me when I was about 14 with a boar pig, and I remember shooting it because it was Dad's 222 with a straight 4-power scope. So it was a bull barrel 222, and he actually turned it into a 17 actually because he's a mad fox shooter. Back in the day when you could get money for fox skins. But we were out past Ningen and spotlighting, Land Rover full long wheelbase, and Dad and I had the 222 sitting on the passenger side, and he's got this boar pig running along, and he goes, he's not going to stop, Stu, he's going to go through the fence. He said, get across me. He opened the door of the Land Rover, laid me across his waist, across his legs, and I had the rifle with the scope out the window as a 14-year-old, out the door, sorry, and Dad's got the spotlight with the door open, and the pig just running along, and he goes, shoot the bloody thing. And I remember shooting that one, and he was a good boar, and I can't remember. I do remember shooting one with a 20 gauge off the back of you, and that was around about the same time, but I can't remember saying, this is my first pig.
I can remember my first one, and I was out with my dad. It was like first time I went pig shooting with him. You know, big saga between. Anyway, first time I went out, and we were out going to Windy, and this little piglet, you know, it was only like a little sucker, and it ran out in the middle of nowhere. And I said, Dad, pig. It was like, and he pulled the car up. I jumped out, and he's like, go grab it. And I think I was like 18 at the time, just finished school, and I could not catch this pig. It just gassed me. It was just running circles, around. Anyway, there was this one tuft of grass in the very middle of the paddock, and it just went straight in there. And it was like, I don't know, like 1.5 meters wide. I could, every time I reached in to grab it, and just run to the other side of the tuft. And then Dad come over with the gun. I just poked the barrel in and blasted it at point blank range. And that was the first one I got. And then I remember I pulled it out, and it was just skin left because I hit it with a Sporterized 3006 of my dad's as well. So that was my first one. And I tell you what, I was hooked ever after that. Well, I was hooked before that. I was hooked long before that. My dad's been shooting since I was like 2 or 4 or something like that, and we were going out following him around, and you talked about the Land Rover, Range Rover, what it was. We were shooting back then. They had a wagon, and on the roof had a roof rack, but then above that they had a bar, and that was what they hung off the bar. So all the kids would sit on the roof with their feet through the roof rack and hang on for dear life. You know, they go tearing across the cultivations and everything.
Yeah. Well, I've got a photo on Instagram I just posted up not long ago of the boys on the roof of a troop kayak. And that was about 10, 15 years ago. Bloody classic. Dad just poking around in second gear, you know.
Yeah.
But Dad, getting back to Dad, he used to do hunting and fishing outfits for Americans on R&R from Vietnam. So he had the actual company's still out. He sold the company. High Country Safaris he used to have with him and Peter Gregory. And Kevin Lawton, and that's my dad, and Peter Gregory had this High Country Safari. So they'd offer these Americans on R&R from Vietnam. So late 60s, early 70s. And I just grew up with where's Dad always out hunting sort of thing. So people often say, how did you get into it? And that's exactly right. I think if Dad was a boat builder, I'd be building boats. I don't know. You get that much impression from your father, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
And he's still, like he's up north now at the moment, you know, hunting and fishing. Yeah. He's 80, bloody 1 or 2 or something like that. Mm.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. He still shoots me. He makes me look like an amateur.
You need to get him on a video.
Yeah, well, he is on a couple of the clips actually. Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, he's on a couple. When I had my nephews or who they were out, and Dad was driving the vehicle. He's been on a couple of clips, but not shooting. I'll have to get him shooting. Yeah. But what he does is he'll go. The pig will run off, you know, if there's no trees or bloody bushes, you know, for him to disappear. If the pig disappears in 100 metres, well, Dad will shoot it at about 95 metres. But if he's got plenty of time, he'll finish off whatever he's talking to you about, open the 270 up and then pull a bloody 130 grain, and he'll just go, yeah. So and I'll go, you gonna shoot that? Yeah, yeah, it's through the fence, but yeah, no worries. And then he just close the bolt. So, is it your shout for buddy? Yeah, no, all right, yeah. And by this 180, 200 metres. So, we're all right then. just check that, buddy. Yeah, right. And then you just line it, bang, and by the time the bullet gets there, poof, Whereas 90% of people want to get a pig down as quick as they bloody can.
Yeah,
whereas
that's
Dad
me.
just goes, no, I've got 10 seconds for this fella, so I'm going to shoot him in about 8 seconds. Bloody easy, classic.
Yeah. And then there's the kayak. I think that every time I see you pull up, and it's like, it always, I've been in kayaks a lot of times, and it always goes the wrong way. Does it? You can lean the hips this way, it'll just go the wrong way. And I'm like, man, you need like a little tiller steer where you can just steer it.
Well, I bought that kayak, I think it was from Orange City Marine or some bloody thing. It was just sitting up on the corner, and it looked bigger than what it was. It was sitting up on the bloody corner. And I said, I'm going to buy that. And it was a camouflage. And it was a white water kayak. So Bass Australis white water kayak. So it's not designed to go straight. It's designed to do these type things. And it's never been in white water, but perfect for me because it's got, where it comes, it's got a big, wide thing. So I can stand up in it basically and it won't fall over. And it's got a good spot there to put the rifle in or the gun. So it's very stable and it's very quiet. And I can, that much water I can still paddle in. So it's
which is perfect, obviously.
Yeah, and that was all by chance too, because I normally don't have a sleep during the day, but Steve does, buddy, Dad does, whenever we're out camping. But I tend to be like, oh, what am I going to do while the boys are having sleep? And often it's, end of the year, November or whatever, it's bloody hot as buggery, and I've been down to the lagoons where we go, the billabongs, and I thought, bugger walking, next time I'm going to bring my kayak. And the boys were saying, oh, you're bloody mad, you'll never use it. And one particular day I went down there, hot as anything, they're all having to sleep till 2 or 3 o'clock in the other. I went down about lunchtime, put the kayak in, got around the first bend in the billabong, and here's his big ball just having a drink, and he just looking at me, and I had the 30SS with the silver scut, and I just thought, bloody hell, banged him down about 100 metres. Next one was about 80 metres. Next one's about 50 metres. They were getting a bit bold, and I'm shooting them real close. This is all before the videos came out. And anyway, Dad said, we couldn't get to sleep because you're shooting bloody kangaroos. I said, I was shooting big pigs, you bloody old bugger. No, don't be bloody stupid. Anyway, then Steve cottoned on real quick too. So he brought his kayak out after the next trip. And then, because then he's now got an electric motor and the whole paddle. But we do really well with the kayak. So, yeah.
So what do you do now? Do you just go like opposite ways, or?
All it takes is for me to go or him to go straight away. So if we're in one end of the billabong's about 5K long.
Yeah.
And there's all these corners and whatever. Now there's water in it now, so it's been good because it's been in bloody drought for ages, but it's filled up pretty bloody quick. So he will get in it and take off, and I'll give him half an hour. And by the time he's gone around 2 or 3 bends and he's about 1 kilometre away, I'll take off, and these pigs will come down straight. Pigs will come down, they'll be coming along the bank that you can't see them, and then you go around the corner, and then they'll come down, have a drink, and you're around the corner, you don't even see them. And I've gone past Steve on the way back, and he's gone, oh, you're going, yeah, good, mate. And then he'll go around the corner, and there's pigs. And I think, well, how come he hasn't seen those ones? But they've come down since he's been around the... So you can go up and down all bloody afternoon. You just keep shooting pigs because they just keep coming, going. It's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Oh, that's
what we normally do. Yeah. So you hardly, sometimes we'll paddle together, but very rarely he'll go off or I'll go off, and then, and then you'll hear one or shoot and whatever. Yeah, it's classic.
No, that's good value, because we've done the same thing, but we took a little old tinny down with like a 7 horsepower motor, like put it on the rooftop, take it off the roof, walk it down, and put the motor in and that. But we've definitely not seen the quantity of pigs that you guys are. But I mean, you're all but silent, so we tinkered along. But we've still seen them there, like. But not quite the same though. Yeah,
no, well, that's right. And I don't know. People often say that you try and act or be like what you're trying to hunt. And if it's deer, when you've got to be secretive and quiet and still, don't walk as much, find a ridge and just sit on it and glass type thing, and just be what the animal you're hunting is. And pigs, I often think, oh God, he's not going to be over there. But as pigs are where you're going to find them. But 90% of the time they'll be where you think. If you're thinking like a pig, you think I'd be under that tree over there. And often I'll turn this camera, so I've got this little Sony action cam, and it just sits on the side of my head, and I've just got the thing on top there. It just sits on like a headband on my head, and I'll turn that on when I get that little tingly Spider-Man, you know, and I think, here we go, and nothing will happen. And then I just turn it back off again after about a minute, or I'll go past that tree. But a lot of the time I'll turn that camera on, and then all the action will happen, so I'll capture a whole lot. Me sneaking up, and I'll be, you know, I wouldn't have even known they were there, but I just think, you know.
Well, the classic one I talked to you about was that one. You jump off the quad bike, and there's a tuft of grass there, and you kick it, and that massive sow just jumps out of nothing.
Yeah.
And
next thing. Yeah, you don't realise you're actually constantly looking, but when you're hunting, you don't think, like, you just, I'm having breakfast and then I'll get back for lunch or whatever, and then it's dinner. But you're actually always looking for pigs, and whether you're conscious or not, and I think it was an unconscious thing. I just thought, because you just pan around like T2, you know, and then I just thought that's a bit darker than normal. You know, some of these roly-polies, if you can't see through them, there's something stopping it from. And I just hold it up, you know. Got off the bike and there he was. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's always said if you look at a tuft of grass and you can't see through it, there's a pig in there.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if it could be two strands of grass. There is. I was telling you yesterday, like we were out on a property out of Walgett, and my mate shot at something out the window of the Pajero, and one of the other mates, he was just bored as anything, just looking out the other window. When he shot, a boar jumped out of the galvanised burr and took off, and we all, you know, you got 5, 6 guys all jumped out and all ran across and chased it. No one got it, you know. And when we're walking back, I was like, where did that come from? There's nothing here, and there's like not even knee-high galvanised burr. And I went, look at that. It must have come out of that bit of a hollow under that galvanised burr there. And I poked my head down like this, and I was like, there's a pig there. So I got barrel my gun. I had pump action 308 Browning at the time. Poked it in. Boom! Next thing, like 15 pigs just spewing out of this bush. And it's like, how did so many pigs fit under there? And I remember they all took off, and I shot. I think I shot 3. Shot one under the bush and shot another one. And my other mate, he shot the bigger boar with his 30-30, and no one else shot any. And he said to me, he goes, why didn't you shoot the big one? I was like, dude, I didn't know there was 2. I thought there was only one pig, and I thought that was it, you know. And
well, I've been on a hill where I'm looking out right across with the binos, right across all this stubble, all the way around. This is right up near where was that? That was up near Moree, and there were these little hills, and then all this area and all the flat area was just stubble. So I would sit up on these little hills and look across the stubble, and wherever the pigs were, I'd just come down off the hill and go across the chute. And I was doing this one day, and I was sitting up on this little bit of the hill, looking around and thinking, there's a couple of pigs over there. And came down off the hill, and as I started to come down, I thought it was a goat initially, but there was a pig doing exactly the same, big boar, exactly the same as me, just sunned himself about 10 metres below me. And because I came up from the hill from behind, started blasting around, sitting there for 10, 15 minutes, and this pig was right there. I didn't even see him. And as I started to go down to the flat, he took off, and it scared me so much. The first shot I missed, second shot I think I hit him, and anyway, it was just I just followed the churned up ground and down into the stubble and the grass and the flat bit, and I just thought, where did that bugger go? What a classic! And I actually got back to putting the rifle on my shoulder, and next minute he jumped up out. I don't even remember it because it was just little loose grass. It was a pretty big bloody pig, and he just jumped up at my feet. He must have just seen me, thinking, bloody hell, there's that bloke on the hill again. And he just laid down flat on the ground, and I almost walked into him, and he just jumped up and he went, bang, because it was not on video. That was before and could not get over it. And Steve's done the same thing. He's walked along thinking that I've shot a pig. He's seen a pig on the ground and go, you must have shot that. Just walked straight up to it. Big boar. And this is only the second trip we've had. And he's looking around, he's just on his own, he's just going, bloody, got the rifle in his hand, he's just thinking, where did you shoot this one? He went to grab it, turn it over to see where my bullet hole was. It just went, took off. He said he was so scared and adrenaline, it just took off. He said he had 3 or 4 shots, but and he got away from he said, and from then on, he's just thinking it's not a dead pig until you know it's a dead pig. Like Jesus, because we've had so many incidents where they've just jumped up, or you haven't even seen it.
Well, the second pig I ever shot, I was with my dad, and we were walking, same property, walking through like a bit of a pine forest section, and at this stage I hadn't shot. Neither of us had shot a pig when I've been there, and I didn't know what the protocol was, and this pig was like 3 meters in front of me, sleeping up against the tree, and I was like, Dad, and like he's just walking, I'm like, Dad, and then next thing it jumped up and took off, and I missed it. He took a shot. He said to me, he goes, "Why didn't you shoot it?" I said, "I didn't know if I was allowed to. Like, what was the go?" And he goes, "The moment you close that bolt, I know what's up." And I was like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah. In fact, one of my later clips, before that isolation clips I was putting up, there was a couple of ones before, just near the end of the drought. And right near the end of the clip, I was sneaking up to a pig that's under a tree, and I thought he was sleeping. And I had the 30-30, and I cocked him up. I was in full predator mode, and I'm walking up to this bloody pig, but he'd been one that I'd shot on the grain pit the night before, and he got all that way and then just laid there and died. But that was the night before I shot him. I didn't realise he'd gone that far, and I thought he was just having a sleep, and I was just ready for him to jump up and then Steve ride up on the bike, and I thought he was alive. Yeah.
No, but they're pretty cunning. Like that one I said where they all jumped out from under that galvanised burr. Like we'd taken 5 shots at that other ball from like 3-4 meters away from it.
Yeah,
and they didn't move. They didn't move until I blasted under that bush.
Yeah,
and the same thing. Like just before Christmas, we went out to a place out at Burke, and my mate's got his dog, and I always joke that my guns are better than their dogs. Like I say, man, my gun will sniff out more pigs than your dogs will. And my mate went around the dam, and I followed him, and there was a tree not 3 meters to our left, and we just got there. We both jumped on the quad bikes. Well, I was on my 2-wheeler, and we're not even 5 minutes from camp. We just went straight to the dam. He drove past, and I looked, and I was like, "That's a pig's here." And I looking, and so my stupid dirt bike won't go into neutral. Like it can't get into neutral, and I really wanted to get in neutral. And then I finally got it in neutral. Kicked this kickstand down, got my pump action 35 wheeling, but I shoot left handed like you. But I was all torqued up because the bike was the wrong way around. I couldn't get around nothing.
Yeah.
And just as I racked it, it jumped up and took off. But I shot it. But I was like, mate, how did you not smell that pig? Like I could see it with my eyes. And I think it's how many pigs must people go past that are there, and they're just not looking in the right place. But like you're saying before, as soon as I go through the gate, I'm hunting. If I go to the toilet, I take my gun. I'm always hunting. It's always about, even if a fox jumps up, like I'm hunting all the time. Until I leave that gate, I'm hunting the whole time.
Yeah. But even like, you can still be outsmarted, as you say, twisted the wrong way. Have you seen that clip where that boar came down to have a drink and I was actually facing the other way and I missed him, a big red brindle boar. And before the pig came down, I pulled the kayak in, got out, and I had the shotgun and the 30-06. And the plan was the pigs were going to come across from the billabong about a 20 metre. I was going to wade into the water and sort of Navy seal it through the water if they came down to the bank on the other side, and then come right up to them, just wading through, just having my head out, and I had it all in my head what I was going to do.
It's going to look great on video.
That other side, and being a left-handed shooter, I'm here waiting, and then something took my eye from this side, and I looked around, and here's a big boar just here on my bank, not the one coming down over there, but here, and I've turned my camera on. It's on one of my clips. Turned my camera on, turned and looked at him so the viewers could see him. So then he's just walked down to the water right there, and I'm feeling around to try and grab my rifle, and then by the time he sort of knew something was wrong and just turned around, I had to run and shot and got it all on video. But that was a classic example, whereas I wasn't expecting anything from there, and completely around the wrong way. Yeah. So he deserved. That's why I toast pigs that get away, because they deserve to get away, because I am there ready to get them. But if they can, twist me inside out and whatever, well, good on him. I'll toast him with the bunny that night.
Well, I scoped myself at the last trip, and it's like, so I shoot left-handed, so I'm in, like, so really normally you get this, but like what happened, I was in the car trying to shoot all torqued up, and I'd been shooting the 223 all weekend, and so it's got no recoil, like nothing, you know, like you could just go like this, and I just relaxed a bit, and next thing, it, because of how I was at this weird angle, and it just went bang, and it smashed me, and blood started spewing out everywhere, and I was like, oh what an amateur. I actually had 2 cuts because what happened, the rubber ring fell off, and so there was an inner bit and then an outer bit, so I got cut by both sections.
Oh, what a classic. And I used to own a 300 Weatherby, and the only reason I had that was when I was in Townsville. Big flash 26-inch barrel American bloody Weatherby, it wasn't even a Vanguard, it was a timber stock, it was bloody beautiful. Left-handed, that was the first left-handed rifle I ever had. And the only reason I went 300 because my hero of the day was Elgin Gates, who was a big mad American. You'll have to Google him. Elgin Gates, and he was a very good shotgun shooter. He got 1,001 straight clay targets and won the Australian clay target shooting championships. But he was a mad big game hunter, and his preferred rifle was a 300 Weatherby. So when I saw this for sale, being left-handed as well, I bloody bought it. And but oh god, it was so flashy. You could fire 5 or 6 shots through it, and the barrel would be so hot. But I hit myself in the face with that many times because of the recoil, and they call it the Weatherby eyebrow because it was so bloody loud. Took it to Africa, you know. So
did you? Yeah. No, well, that's why I was going to get a 300 Winchester Magnum or whatever, and that's when someone talked me out of it. Said, no, get the 35 Whelen. You'll be, if it's for hunting, you'll be much better gun. And I tell you what, I have no regrets buying that 35 Whelen. It's quite tame. You know, you can. And what made me buy that was I had the 308. We went way out west, and I shot a 108.9 kilo bore, and it just gobbled up 5 rounds, 150 grains, and it just ate them up just like nothing. And I was like, man, I need to go bigger. If I'm going to come out here again, I need a bigger gun. And,
well, people often ask me what's the favourite, what is the best rifle for pigs, and I often tell people 308, but I've never shot a pig with a 308, and I've never owned a 308. Dad's never owned it, but you know.
I would say 308 as well, and the reason I say that, I've got a 308, but I have a 3006. Now, I think the 3006 is a better cartridge because you can load a lighter grain projectile and a heavier grain projectile. So I think you can go right down to like 100 or 80 grains, right up to like a 250 grain, which is the upper limit of it. So very, very flexible to do whatever you need it to do. The problem with it is I've been to 3 properties that won't let me shoot it because they said it's too flat shooting. They won't let it. So I wouldn't tell someone to get a 308 because there's a chance if you haven't been to a property, you're going to get told you can't bring your 308. Sorry, your 306. So you might as well go back to the 308. So, and I mean, there's not much performance difference between a 3006 and a 308 either. So,
and you know, from just an on and off thing from a military point of view, the just a bit of trivia, the 7.62 NATO round that we have for our NATO countries is a 308, and the communist bloc years ago, the AK-47, so 7.62 by 39 is a smaller case but a 308 projectile. And the sole reason is that if they take over our fix, they can use our guns with their ammo. And we can't use their ammo with our guns because our bullets are too long. And that's the sole reason that happened. Yeah,
interesting. Because it's the same base, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the same angle though, but that would make sense as a worst case scenario. You can stuff them in there and use them. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's like using a 243 and a 308. You know, it'll just fire form. Same with the bloody. In Africa, I used a 8mm Mauser, and we were using 375. Sometimes we'd run out of 375s. Holland, and the 8mm Mauser fits in the 375, and just fire forms a little bit. It's the same, but
When I was sighting in my 35 wheel, and I was there, and man, I punished my shot. I was doing my Tika T3 brand new 308, my brand new 35 wheel, and I was like, I'll go down there, shoot 60, 20 rounds of factory ammo, so that I could just break in the barrel, like whether you have to do it or not. I don't know. I was like, I didn't care. I was going to sight in the gun as well anyway. And then I had all my reloading, my load development there ready to go. man, by the time I'd done like 60 rounds, my shoulder was just like hanging off my arm. And I remember though, I got this round, I chuck it in the 35 wheel, and boom, and it made the weirdest sound. It was like, I can't remember the sound. It was just really odd, and I was like, oh, something didn't go right. And I ejected the shell, and had the case head separation, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Wow. And then I'm like, oh, now I can't use it. And I'm like looking in there, and it's pump action, so you can't really see up the back of it. And I'm like trying to get it out, and I got my cleaning rod and doing all the stuff, and this other guy comes up and he goes, what are you doing? I was like, oh mate, I've stuffed got the case head separated and this and that. And he's like, and anyway, next thing he goes, how were you able to put a 308 in a 35 wheel? And I was like, give it here. And I had a look, and it had just like just went, just fire formed, and I thought that where the top of the 308 was perfectly where the shoulder was.
Classic.
And I was like,
well, it proves that you can do it. One shot anyway.
Pretty sure it's still got on paper too.
Oh, classic. Well, getting into sighting, people often ask me, how do I sight? And I'll use one round if it's on and I'm just doing a practice shoot. I'll just set up a target. It's just a small target, as big as that type of thing.
Yep. 30
meters, and if I can hit the center of that thing at 30 meters, I know that the bullet that's a path of the bullet's going past the line of sight at 30 meters, and then it's on again at 200. So I don't even bother doing any sighting in any further than 30 meters.
I haven't tried that yet, but it's something I wanted to actually test to see how it goes.
Yeah, because you target close, you can do real tight groups if you want to, because it's just there, and then it's going to be on again at bloody 200. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because I did the F class. I did some F class shooting a couple of months ago, and they literally sight in on a 25 meter sight and make their adjustments at 25 meters to go out and shoot 1,000 meters. So that's exactly what you're saying to do anyway. Like,
yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, and with the target being closer, they're setting this. So they're setting, if you can see my hands, at 25 meters, they're setting the scope lower so that the path of the bullet is in more of an angle, so that it hits at 25 meters, which means it's going to travel that much further. So that's what it's like at 1,000.
What they've actually got, though, is they've got like this black dot with a line, and then there's like a 300 line, a 600 line, 800, 1,000. So you shift your projectile, you keep aiming at the black circle and just shift your projectile till it hits that line, and that should get you on the paper at the distance. So
the only time I've ever really been to a range, other than with my army service, was Uncle Al. He had these sniper rifles, just a single shot job with a big block of wood and the bloody
bench rest
bag of grain, type thing. And we were shooting 300 yards, 50-cent pieces at 300 yards.
Yeah.
The bullseye was 3, and I couldn't believe it until I actually did it myself. Like, we had 10 shots for the day, and I hit that 50-cent piece bull probably 4 or 5 times. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. You can be bloody active if you want to.
Well, I took my Tatika 308 and 600 yards, and I got 11 shots in 327 millimeters. Like, I was like, if you told me I could have done that, I was like, nah, not possible. Like, that's just, and that's my pig shooting gun. That was just with a Bushnell 3 to 9 times scope, and I was like,
like, I'd be shocked if I went up against people on the range with my 30-06. I'd be shocked. I'd be coming last, because I'm not a, that day without Uncle Al was bloody just something different, where I just took my time. But I know that I'd be bloody dragging the chain with those guys that are real precision shooters. But then I'll drag them out bush and say, right, I know you got to shoot these running pigs.
That's right. It's all about your
totally sport. Different bloody game, isn't it?
Now, I do have a question for you, and I think this is you had me in stitches. The zombies.
Yes. Have you seen my last clip where Steve goes, "You're fair thinking about that"?
No, I actually haven't seen the last 2 videos. I'm on catch up.
Shit.
So,
well, Steve, he just goes, "Really?" And it's a thing. I think because I like watching zombie movies and whatever, and any sort of a monster, I think I could bloody go to town with broadsword, cut it, fire breathing dragon, whatever. But what really scares me is another human that's got hands and freaking teeth, and they're a person. You're like, what? just strolling through the bush. What the fuck? And you've got to shoot them in the head or they won't die type thing. And they're trying to eat your brain. What the?
Well, lucky you can shoot in the head.
It's always in the back of my head. I'm just thinking, Jesus, you know, especially when I'm doing these grain pits, like I'll go out and Steve will go, watch out for zombie stew. And I go, oh, yeah, no worries. And I just, why do you say that? So then I'll get on the quad, go up at the first gate on my own, head torch on, open the gate, and I'll just look around. No, there's no zombies. Just in the back of him, quad bike through, right up to the grain pit, because if there's any pigs on there, they'll run, but then they'll come back, so I'll turn everything off. And then I'll be just sitting on the quad, and I'll pitch dark. I've got a little hand thermal thing that I've got to lend off from Steve or whatever, but I've got my big torch, you know, the big thing from Olight Australia.
How good are they? I just had one. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'll just be thinking to myself, Jesus, if a zombie comes up, no, I've got him, because I'll just 30-30s there. No, I'll be right. You know, so as long as I've got a rifle and on. But God help a farmer that's bloody got overalls on. He's just coming through the fence. He's I just go, fuck.
He's out of water. He hasn't had a drink.
Steve, well, if you watch my latest, one of those clips, and Steve goes, really? You know, and I go, yeah, mate, if a bloody bloke, you know. And then he's the last second of the video clip, Steve just going, that's something to remember.
But it's funny though, like I've done a fair bit of culling, and a couple of trips I've been on my own, and you know, like you said, you know, you drive up to the gate, and you're in the middle of nowhere, like there's no lights, and it's like you go up to the gate, and
that's right, you just think
nothing. I will not turn my ute off because the rumble of the diesel, because as soon as you turn it off, the sensory is just like insane.
Yeah,
it's like you can hear everything, and you're like, well, what's that? What's that? Like, you know, sensory overload, and it's like, man, and then like you're saying, like, what if? And you know, it's funny, like you're saying about being in the creek in the kayak. We were out Warriner, way out west, and like we're chasing pigs, and we've got like 5 or 6 guns with us, and we're down a creek. We've got dogs with us. Next thing, this dude comes around the corner in a kayak. I was just thinking, what are you doing? You're in the middle of nowhere. Like, what if we're up to no good? Like, I was just like, man, that's crazy. Like, imagine being him coming around seeing all these boys with guns, like thinking.
That reminds me, this is before I had my video. I had my little camera, but a different one. We were out shooting, and I forget which, it was the Darling River, I think. And Dad dropped me off and said, no, it was Adrian, the fellow that was another army mate. He said, Stu, do you want to have a swim? You know, we're going around the camp, and it was on the Darling River, and it was we thought it was about friggin' 4 or 5 bends, and I'll just take a lilo, and that was, I had a carton of bloody, not Bundy's, they were Strongbow. So I had 2 Strongbows and another 2 Strongbows, and I was on this lilo, and it was literally a kilometre drive from the camp. And then I thought, I'll just have a little, you know, mid-afternoon sort of swim. And I went around the first bend, and I'm on this lilo, just having a great time lying there. And Adrian had already gone. And after about an hour, I'm thinking, God, how many corners are? And the river, unbeknownst to me, went right out that way, and then came all the way back. So it was about a 10K lilo paddle.
True.
And I heard this outboard motor, and I'm on a lilo in the river, middle of nowhere. And I heard this, and I looked around, and here's this flat front tinny with 2 kids and a dad, hats and, you know, rods and whatever, trying to catch a cod. And they came around the corner, and I thought, oh, here's a go. And they came around the thing, and they looked at me. All they could see was, and then they got the bow wave happening, and they came right up to me, and I'm just there, a couple of empties, and having a lot. And they're looking at me, big saucer eyes, thinking, what are you doing, mate? And I said, what are you doing? And he goes, mate, we're fishing. And I said, I'm just having a, you know. I said, have I come through Burke yet? And he goes, mate, Burke's back. Burke's back. I said, well, I'll go down to bloody Louth or something. He goes, do you want a hand? I said, no, mate. And then anyway, that was around their turnaround point. So then they turned the tinny around and went back to, like, that was their extent sort of thing. And all the way back, and I'm just saying, later, boys, and I went around the next corner, and all they would just look, you know, rubbernecking around, going, what the? They'd be still talking about that. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
The lilo, Dad?
Yeah. floated 200
was
kilometres.
only around, two more bends, but they didn't know that.
Of course not. Yeah. Well, as soon as you're down the river, you can't see like anything up on the bank.
I know. Yeah. So, oh, classic.
Yeah. But no, I when you said that zombie thing, I had it. But like, man, so many times I've got out there on your own and the spider senses, you know. Like,
well, people have often said, a lot of subscribers have said, Stu, we need to get a gamer, and we need to make a game called Hunting with Stu, and we need to have kayaks in it, quads, shooting pigs, but also roaming zombies with like 1,000-point credit points.
Just the random zombie just come up and get you from behind.
Oh, God. But that's
why I was like, man, I'm surprised. People must hit you up for T-shirts and all sorts of stuff all the time.
I know. I still got it. I'm dragging the chain with. There's guys out there that have got like 10,000 subscribers, and they've got hats and shirts and the whole lot. I've got to get a logo happen, and I've got to get some shirt. All I need is a few of these, and that's my hat. Sell them, Hunting with Stuart on or something. But I need to get a logo. Yeah, so something with like crosshairs and running pigs or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe a zombie like.
Yeah.
Big. It'd be cool as if you could have like, I reckon, the pit fight. Have the pit with the pigs just run out of it and a bit of a barrel looking down on the pit. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. One I got subscribed to is zombie pigs or something like that. Have you seen that one on the American Bloke?
No.
And he's called Zombie Pigs or something. He calls pigs up with pig sounds and whatever.
Well, I've been watching heaps of. I've got a thermal coming. I'm really excited about that, and I mentioned this to you on the phone, and I've been watching a lot of thermal stuff, and finally the stuff that you were saying about leading the pig makes sense when you actually see through the scope what leading the pig means, and you're watching them and they're like literally like a meter in front of them in some instances, depending on the angle, whether they're quartering or going full sideways.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, fine. And I actually, for the first time, when I went hunting like last weekend or the weekend before, and I actually led the pig and finally shot it. And then I got too excited with leading the pig. The next one, I was leading it too much and it got away. But I was like, finally, it makes sense. But I've never shot enough pigs to keep practicing it and keep trying to remember to do it. And so that's...
And no two pigs are the same. No two pigs are the same, and no two scenarios are the same. And you can be shooting the same stream of pigs and have a different point of aim, even though that's the same mob of pigs you shoot. So it's interesting. It is an exact science, but you've got to think that out in about a half a second.
Well, and because the distances keeps changing, the angles continually getting modified, and it's but I always say that like a Texas heart shot is probably the classic. People always say, "Why don't you shoot in the head?" I was like, "It's running away from me." They never stop and turn and go, "Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds." It's like they're always
that's right.
Especially if you're walking down through the creek and that's where the thick stuff is. They're always going to run that way or that way. They're never going to go up the bank and run through the open plains and give you a shot. They're always going to go the opposite way unless of course.
And often they'll look back, and I'm guaranteed they're thinking, "I'll just keep that tree between him and me. I'll just keep that tree between him." They look back as they're running,
Oh, exactly. Exactly. So I guess we touched on it. I was going to talk about shot placement, but I think we've covered that. And
well, actually, just a point on that, and I made it a point in one of my clips. I'd like to see more of the hunting fraternity spend that extra second instead of just shooting them, instead of just shooting pigs, shoot them in the chest or the head. Because if you can take that extra half a second, your tally will go up, and the pig will go down. And rather than sort of them spinning around and squealing and then you go to the next one sort of thing, if you can just take that extra second, because the way I think is if I'll close a bolt on a pig, if I've got it, I say to myself, I've got a 90% chance of getting this pig, I'll close the bolt and I'll shoot. If I say to myself, I've got an 80% chance, I'll lift the bolt. Because we've been given that right to bloody shoot another animal, So why not make it a decision that's you've got a bloody almost 100% chance.
Well, how would you go about delivering that message to someone, say like me, who might be lucky to see one pig over a weekend? How would you encouraged me to make that same determination. Because I mean, it's probably it's to say to someone,
it should be more so. It should be more so because you want to get that shot off and deadly straight away. Bang, down it goes. So that one pig, it's on the ground. So I would say it's more so because if you just go bang and hit it in the back leg or something like that, and it gets away, and that's the only pig that you saw on the trip and it got away wounded, I would say take that extra second, let it walk around that bit of a grass, and then hit it in the head.
Yeah, well, and that's what happened on the last trip where, and you know, we're talking about being so close to pigs. What happened? I went down the creek the second day. I'd seen some pig tracks, so I went back to the exact same spot because I thought that's the best bit of land I've seen the whole time. So I want to walk back over that bit of land where I'd seen these huge footprints in the mud, and they looked really fresh. So I went back down there and I got my phone out and I was like, filming. I'm going, yeah, these are the prints I saw yesterday. And so I thought I'd just come back here. And then I stopped recording and I said, those pig prints there look really fresh. And then I was like, I'm going to walk up this bit of bank here. And I just slipped my phone in my pocket as I was going up the bank. And then as I get up the top of the bank, so I'm not even 5 meters from where I just filmed. And these 4 pigs jumped up like 2 meters away from me. So they would have heard me filming and making these are pig prints.
Yeah, yeah.
Next thing, the pigs jumped up in front of me, and I got my gun, and I shouldered it, and I always leave the chamber empty, except the last few hunts I've been hunting on my own. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to shoot anyone else because I'm on my own, so I'll just leave it chambered and put the safety on. There's a lot of people do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, of course, I've never done that in my 10, 15 years of hunting, however long, 20 years of hunting now. And I straight away, as the bolt was stuck, the safety. And I was trying to push the safety, and I looked down and I'm pushing the red button that's the firing pin. Oh, no, I had to go to the side and I pushed, and then I got it up and I'm like trying to find it. And then finally, I shot the first pig and it went down, racked it, got the next one. And that one was running away from me. So I hit it up the bum probably. Real solid hit, and it dropped down like I saw it fall, racked it, got the next one, let it, boom, shot it, hit it hard, but it was like wheelbarrowing, that's what I call it when they're running their front legs and dragging their back legs. I think it was a spine shot. Anyway, racked it again, tried to shoot this other one, and anyway, it's all over. And when I was finished, of course, the scope's on 6 power, which was supposed to be on 3 power, but I was like, I don't know, looking at a wedge-tail eagle. I was like, I want to have a look at that wedge-tail eagle. I zoomed right in on it, forgot to wind it back, and so probably could have shot.
Steve does that all the time. He's got a 15-power scope, and he'll often bugger himself up, and he'll have it on 15 power, and he'll go to shoot something close, and he's buggered. He's doing that. Yeah,
I'm going to ban myself from above 3 on that gun now. I think I should get some electrical tape and stick it down.
I caught myself out. Do you see that clip of me coming up to the grain pit where there was that one bore on the other side of the pit?
Yeah.
And I was with the 30-30, and it's actually one of my thumbnails. It's like 30-30, pig, light, dead as a door. But that pig took off because I came up to it, put the light on, nothing in the pit, because the night before there was all those pigs that just erupted out of that pit.
Yeah, they get born in there or something.
Yeah.
It's like a can, just go, pigs coming out.
And I looked in the pit, the light on, nothing. And then I just thought, I'll have a look around here. And I got the 30-06 on me back because I was on my own again. And I must have had the hammer on one click. I must have had it on
the half cock, yes.
Because I had it, I remember thinking I've got it ready to go.
I saw you go like this, and then you
that's right. Yeah, so what I did was, then when I saw him, he saw me. When you play the video back, he wasn't perturbed about the scope. With the light, he was just about to start to walk down towards me again. But I thought, oh my God, he's seen me, and then I pulled the trigger, nothing's happened. So I just ejected the whole lot out to recock, and then he took off. And then I got like 3 shots of 30-30, hit him a couple of times at 30-06 off, and then I got him with 30-06.
How'd you go with swapping the? Did you have the torch in your hand or the torch mounted to the gun?
No, I've got a magnet. So it was a magnet set up.
Yes, okay.
Got a magnet goes onto the magazine of the 30-30. It's like a classic little setup. Yeah, just go dunk, and you just put the light on. Yeah,
so that magnet's pretty good, is it?
Yeah.
I just got the clamp it comes with, and I put that on top of the scope.
Yeah, I do that too.
Because There's one thing I didn't like about it. I've got a review coming on the thing is I don't like that when you hit that button, it goes full blast. Because I found out west in the dust, I got too much. It got overexposed and I couldn't see through the scope very well. I'd have to wait for it to clear. But if I just hit the button and went to the second highest, it was really good. It could see through the dust. And it's like, I guess it's like, you know, when you get in a fog and you got your high beam on, you got to turn your high beam off so you can see through the fog.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what I found. And I was just like, man, I was so annoyed.
And I found that on my videos too, because the first lot of night stuff I did with the Olight, I had it on full power, and it actually doesn't show the pig in the scope. Like it's just too bright on video. But through the scope, it's perfect. But on video, so then the next trip I made it that wasn't the full power. It was like just for the viewers, you know. So it was a lot better. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the camera. You showed it to us before. Now that you've had that for like what, good couple of years now. That's
Yeah. So they're all different types. So this one's got the little thing on the top, so I'll press on top. Well, Steve's got one from the back. You press it from behind. But the Sony action cam,
it's much narrower, isn't it? Like so.
Yeah, it's very narrow, but it's still got the wide angle if you want, 120 mils and whatever. But it's got a 4K if you want. It's got Wi-Fi and the whole bloody lot. The reason I initially went Sony is I did the normal YouTube and up against GoPro and Sony, and the guys were saying GoPro are changing every year, drastically every year they change. And Steve actually had GoPros, and they kept running out of batteries or something was going wrong, you know. Whereas that
they're too wide. I found that the GoPro's so wide, a pig at 10 meters looks like it's 100 meters away.
Yeah.
And by the time it goes to 20, on the video, it's just a speck. You can't even see it. Whereas I find your videos, because it's such a narrow profile, it looks like it's, say, 12 meters away at 10 meters, and you can still get, like you're shooting them at, say, 100 meters. Well, you can still clearly see them on the video. Yeah. On the GoPro, it just shrinks them.
So with my camera, it's set up in a way that when you play the Sony, it's like as if you're me. So it's like the real vision that we don't have 5 powers, vision or 1 power eyes. What you see in your eyes is what you get on the video as well.
Yes,
so that's what I like about it. And because it's set up as a first-person shooter, it's just like as if you're me type thing. And I've never had a problem. That the batteries will go all day.
So you'll have that on standby all day?
No, I just have it off. I have it off, completely off. So when I go to something comes on, I just turn it on, and it goes and it goes bing, and it takes about 2 seconds. Whereas Steve has his on standby all the time, but it does churn through the batteries. And he's got a little wrist thing, whereas I don't, because he can look at his wrist and know where he's looking. But I just think, it's over there, because wherever I look, I know it's facing sort of thing.
Okay, so you are literally going, spider senses. I might just turn it on, and start recording.
Yep.
Nothing happens.
But then sometimes shit'll happen. Like a boar will jump up straight away. And the first thing I do is, as I'm grabbing the rifle, I'll put the camera on, grab the rifle, close the bolt, and he's running and I'm listening. And it'll go bing, and then when it starts to play, then I'll go bang. So as soon as it starts to play, if I've got time.
So that noise, that's your approval to close the bolt.
Yeah. And often Steve will say that sometimes. There's a classic video I'm on the back of the bike of Steve. In fact, it might have been one of these ISO ones just recently. And he goes, wait, and the pig's running. wait, now shoot it.
Hey, when is Steve uploading videos? I want to know when Steve is finally going to hit YouTube.
Well, he reckons he hasn't got time to do all these things. I don't spend much time. I'll go out and have a long weekend. We'll shoot 100 pigs, and then I'll have about 4 hours of video from my camera, and I'll come back, and that 4 hours might equate to 150 clips, and out of those 150 clips, there's probably 50 that is just nothing. That I've turned it on and nothing, or so then I just delete those ones. And then there's 100 clips that has got something on it, and it's either good bits or bits that are coming up. And then what I'll do is I'll go through those 100 clips and then I'll trim them down.
Yeah.
So then I'll have 100 trim clips, and delete the others, or put the originals somewhere. And then I've got 100 trim clips, which might be 2 hours worth of videos from a 4-hour trip, from a 4-hour video from a whole trip that might have 50 kills on it. And then I'll trim them down to like 10, 15, 13, 15 minute type clips, and I just have it like a bit of a start, middle, finish type thing. Put a few together, yeah, that'll do. Post that up, and not long after getting back from the trip, and then give it a month, because it's, we don't go out all the time. We only go out 2 or 3 times a year.
And how are you just going for like a long weekend, or are you going for a week?
Yeah, long weekend, 4 days, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would normally take about 130 sixes, about 50 30s, and a few boxes of 30 shotty shells.
And you're using AAA, aren't you?
Well, at the moment I'm using Black Hawk ammo. So Black Hawk, they sent me an email or a text on YouTube and said, we want to give you some ammo. And I was like, giddy. So then they organised, they said, who's your gun shop? So I went through Paul Britton at the Terry Hills gun shop, and they dropped
the one
off
at Orange.
ammo. What's that?
The one at Orange?
No, Terry Hills.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Northern Beaches, so Northern Sydney. And so Paul rang me up and said, oh, Stu, you've got some ammo. He goes, oh, that's right, that bloke bloody rang. Yeah, he did come forward, So I went up there, and there were 2 blocks of, like, cartons of shot shells. One was 9 pellets, and the other ones were 27 pellet SSGs.
Yeah.
And then there was probably about 100 solids, all Black Hawk ammo. So I've got a stack. I handed out a lot to Steve and Hood, but that was great, because that would have been like $600 worth of shot shells.
And what do they expect you to do for it? Do you have to go?
No, they didn't. They just said use our ammo, because they knew that I was going to say, when people say, which a lot of people say, what are you running through the Adler? And I just say Black Hawk ammo.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, no, well, it's good stuff. Yeah, but I think the best kill you dead, knock you flat stuff is the Winchester Defenders. They're those ones with the 3 pellet, 3 ball bearings and 1 solid, and by geez, but you buy them in a pack of 10, and they're bloody expensive.
Because I've played around with the shotgun shells a fair bit, because I do use my Adler a lot. We like to do what we call drive-bys, which is on the back of the ute chase and stuff, and shoot foxes in the stubble and that, which we haven't done for years because of the drought. But
I do drive-by on ones I've wounded.
And so, I've tried the double OSGs, which is like the 9 pellets. I've tried the double SGs, which I've had 16 pellet ones, and from your recommendation, I actually tried the AAAs, and I got I think it was Seller and Bellet, a 45 pellet. What I don't like about them is they're a rolled crimp, and so you only fit 4 in the magazine. Whereas if you get the whatever the other crimp is, it
why
fits
they ever use 2 3/4, 2 3/4 inch?
Yeah, well, no, they're still 2 3/4, because the measurement goes by the spent shell size, not the. So I don't have one here. So they're both the same length when you shoot them, but when they're packed, one's like a bit shorter than the other.
No, right. Yeah.
But I found we had an instance where we shot these pigs with the double OSG, and these pigs were all dead on the ground. Like, we shot, I think it was about 5 of them, and you could see where the pellet had hit the skin and then skidded up the skin and went off. And what was interesting, we tried to drag the pigs to get a photo, and I grabbed all the pigs by the ears, and the ears kept slipping off. And it was like, because it was so hot, it was like 45 degrees. And I think what happened is, they say sweat like a pig, but pigs don't sweat. I think the skin had like come loose. And so unless the pellet went perfectly flat, if it was at a bit of an angle, it would just scoot off. But what happened was I shot the first 5 shots will come out the double OSG, and then I had these Remington 16-shot double SGs. Well, they were penetrating. I think just the slightly smaller diameter was allowing them to punch through. So and that's why I sort of switched over to these AAAs. But I think they're all as good as each other at the right ranges. But it's
the big difference is the 9 pellets. There's too much of a gap between the pellets.
Yes, I patterned them on a board. One of my videos I've got the Adler, and you can clearly see over 9 pellets. They're still grouping at like 30 metres, still maybe 2 foot wide, and you could see you'd easily miss a fox. You could easily miss a pig. It's just so inconsistent. Whereas you go to like the 16 pellet, you still got a couple of holes, but you definitely hit them with something. But you shoot those AAAs, and there's just a wall of lead going down.
Well, those Black Hawk SSGs, they're 27 pellets, and that 27 pellets is good. Yeah. And I just make it a point, I don't shoot pigs out past bloody 30 metres, you know, so.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
Not with the shotgun anyway, obviously.
Yeah.
So, well, they're just
roar over the logs and rip through fences, and that's part of the stuff. That's why people watch it.
No, that's right.
That clip I put up a week ago, I've had over 1 million views on that.
Yeah, it's I think I was looking what you're on, like 89,000 subscribers at the moment. Like
now it's 94 and it's going up. In fact, I'm finding out right now it's going up. It's like 95,000 now. Doesn't take long, eh?
Well, it was only when I was talking to you yesterday. I think I looked. It was it was crazy. It's, you know, it's funny. I was struggling to get to 1,000.
Yeah, 95,000. There you go. That's so I picked up a few thousand. Yeah, classic. Won't be long. It'll be 100,000. What's that? Is that what do they call them? A play button or something like that?
I don't know. I think it's about numbers of views or hours of views. I think the play button. I'm not sure.
I've had over 23 million views across the channel.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I've got a. It's funny, like, because I like the hunting. That's what I'm into. Love the guns and all that sort of stuff. But my best videos is like, you know, how to do something to your Hilux. Oh, thousands of views. It's like, that's the stuff that doesn't interest me. I filmed it on my phone. I'm like, film it on my phone. It's like, that's where, because your channel's monetized too, I think. But are all your videos monetized, or do they keep ripping you off on a few?
I've clipped them all. I've clicked them all for monetized, but there's probably 3 or 4 that are age restricted. And you get an option to request a review, and then they'll review it and go, no, that's pretty full on. You go, all right, no. And then they'll just say, you know. But it doesn't really worry me. I just like putting my videos out and getting the boys to look at it. You know?
No, well, oh man, you make me so hungry for shooting. I watch the video, I was like, oh man. And I guess it really motivated me to go and keep trying to find properties, you know, like, because I've done a lot of farmer assist, and I've got to say, I've got pigs every time. It's never let me down. But it's like, you know, you can't shoot pigs at home on a couch. You got to get out there and just go. Like, so I remember when I was watching your videos, I was getting originally I was getting a bit jealous, I guess, more than anything. I was like, man, I've got to find his property. Like, but I never tried to. But you know, but it's like, you know, it's easy to get jealous of you shooting all this stuff. It's like, well, how about you start by getting your own property to shoot something on, you know, and then try and move on from there if you want to. But, I think people can get stuck in a rut of, I could never shoot that many pigs. Well, of course you couldn't if you haven't bothered to go and get a property. And
I've got a mate that I've been out with him, but he's got a property at Narromine, but that's his own property, but he's got every access to every property from Narromine to Ningan. And so he's a good mate. But I've only been out with him once, but it's mates like that. You just think, Jesus, you know, let's go somewhere different. But you need to know those. You need to be in that spin of knowledge.
In the circle, yeah. But I think people just get too caught up with it, and I guess this is probably something I do want to put in perspective for the listeners and the viewers. Is like, I'm not going to ask you where you shoot, because I know where that is, but that doesn't matter. But how far are you driving? Because when I drive to go hunting, I'm driving anywhere from sort of 6.5 hours to 9 hours to shoot pigs. And that's to like get one over a weekend.
Yeah, about 60 hours. Yeah, about 60 hours.
So people have to expect, if you want to get good pigs or any pigs, you do have to put in the kilometres in the car, don't you? So, because
that's right. Yeah, but then again, it's like deer hunting. When you get, like, I used to live down at Albury-Wodonga, and I used to drive right down to Buckland and right down the Buckland Highway and the Myrtleford, and you go past a lot of good deer country to get to where you know where the deer. So it's the same with pigs. There's a lot of good pigs as you go over the Blue Mountains. You know, there's pigs everywhere. You know. Yeah. But not necessarily the further you go, but definitely there's areas where there is more pigs than other. You know, and sometimes it's property to property. one bloke might have bugger or pigs on the problem, and then the next property over's got bloody stacks.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I went out with a roost shooter and I had a good conversation with him. And one of the things he said, he goes, "Oh, people get too bent up on where the good pigs are." He said, every property now has capped, like all the bores are capped, so there's no open bore drains. So they all got troughs they got the water, so that there's water there. If you've got cattle or sheep, there's feed there, and of course cover can be anywhere. So the pigs are there. You just need to find where their lair is and just pry them out. And of course, the further out you go, not necessarily the more pigs you'll get, but typically they will get bigger and more tuskier because there's less pressure on them. But as they go out further, at least in Queensland and New South Wales, of course, is the dogs. So the dogs put more pressure on them. So you're less likely to find good-sized mobs of medium pigs, but you'll find bigger pigs.
And you'd be surprised, like often the pigs you just think, I just get this mid-sized one, you chase them up and shoot it, and the bloody thing's got a set. I've got sets of tusks on them, and I've got bowls of bloody stuff. I just chuck my pig tusks. Here's one.
Yeah, I saw one behind you. Yeah.
So you get bloody thumping great pig tusks just from small pigs,
Yeah.
And that actually is a pig. There's like a fighting pig bloody bowl. That actually is a pig bowl, that one. But no, and often people will ask me, why do I just do pig shooting on my channel? And it's because I made it a conscious thing that I don't want to put deer hunting or goat hunting or bloody other stuff. Pigs seem to be the go, and I've always loved hunting pigs anyway. And I'm always going pig hunting, so I'm thinking, well, let's just make this channel pig hunting only.
Yeah.
There was a time I did actually post up a goat shooting bloody thing. I don't know whether you saw that, but I took it down. I had it up for about a month or so, and I had like 100 views. And I went, oh, bugger this. So I just deleted it.
I tell you what, though, I like pig shooting's what I love. Like that's what I crave to do is go pig shooting. But to get more opportunities, I'm trying to shoot the dogs, and I haven't shot one yet. They've been evading me. But it's funny that the deer are where the dogs are, and I had the opportunity to shoot one and decided not to pull the trigger because I didn't have an esky with me or anything like that. But what's really what makes me laugh is it's pigs, but man, cats. Oh, I love shooting cats. It's like my favourite thing.
I'll shoot a cat. Yeah.
And so when you posted that cat, I was like, oh yes, I'll get that cats. Because it's been a long time since I saw cats out west.
They make a real pop noise with a 3006 too.
Oh yeah, I always talk about this one. I can't help myself. There was
I missed one the other day. Actually, I've still yet to post that up. That's another clip I've got to post up. Is from the last trip, and he was only bloody 10 metres away. Got the spotlight. All you see is just his little eyes, little black thing, and I put the rifle up, bang, with the 3006 in the light. And he jumped up about that bloody high off the ground and just disappeared in the grass.
So this was years ago now. There was the fork in a tree like this, and a kitten had its two little feet like this in the fork of the tree. So it was like this. And I got my 308. We're only like 5 metres away, spotlight, and was shooting foxes all night. And I've got my 308, put it up there, boom, and it just disappeared. And we're going, where'd it go? And so we got the spotlight on the ground, and we're like trying to find it because we're trying to get photos of all these cats. Because that weekend, we were there for about 10 days. We must have shot like at least 100 cats anyway. So we're trying to get all these photos of all these dead cats. We're out there, and like this is in the middle of the paddock. There's one tree, and where's this cat? And we can't find this cat. We're looking everywhere, and then I look, and there's this like little tuft of tail. Well, I got it. There's some tuft. Anyway, my mate turns around, looks up in the tree, and there's just blood dripping off all the leaves.
Oh, classic.
Oh, what's going on? And then anyway, we went round the front, and of course there's just blood all up in the leaves. Yeah. And what had happened is I forgot that I was only shooting because it was down like this, right? And it's only a kitten. Yeah. It's only got like a head like 2 inches big.
Yeah.
And I hit the fork of the tree, and it just deformed the bullet and just went up.
Wow. Yeah.
Just evaporated this cat. Like it literally just disappeared. Like all I could find was like this 1 inch tuft of fur from its tail, and the rest of it just vaporised. I'd never seen it before in my life.
Well, that just reminded me, we used to shoot bulls up Cape York for $100 a tail, and we'd shoot pigs with cut off 303s. So we
cut the tip. Yeah, my dad was doing that. Yeah,
full metal jacket.
Full metal jacket.
Jackets were no good because you just go straight through them. But if you cut the tips off them with bolt cutters, you'd see the imprint of the side-on projectile hit on the side of the bloody pig. Oh my God!
Keyhole.
So they flatten them. God.
Good fun. Good fun. No, right. Well, I guess I could talk shooting and hunting all night, but it's I'm happy to leave it here, and maybe we can have another conversation another day. Maybe we can get Steve involved. That'd be really good.
Do like a
three-way. That'd be pretty choice. But look, I really do thank you for taking the time to come on my little humble channel and talk guns and talk shooting with us. I really appreciate it. When I called you yesterday and then I heard your distinctive voice on the phone, it's like, oh my goodness, I got so excited, just like, zombies! And just fantastic, and I really am appreciative of it, and I look forward to seeing your next video. Look forward to watching the other couple of videos that I haven't been able to see yet, but I just want to say big congratulations on your channel. I mean, you're probably what 2-3 days away from getting on the 100K.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Pretty awesome, and I hope maybe we can meet up one time after this coronavirus.
We'll definitely have to catch it. In fact, I was in you're Brisbane way, aren't you? I was in Cleaver Arms not long ago. I pulled in there the other day when I was doing my kayak tour stuff. And as I was walking out, I thought, these blokes didn't recognise me. And as I was walking out, one bloke on one side of the counter said, when are you going to get a new quad? And then the other guy on the other side said, and aren't you going to get a new Seiko? And I thought, you bloody, they're both freaking subscribed. So I get recognised. Yeah, so it's good.
Yeah. It's been great, man. I've only been recognised twice. And it's funny, I was in Queensland Gun Exchange. Someone goes, you're that guy with the Adler. Yeah, that's me. And then, of course, the guy behind the counter's like, what Adler? It's just funny.
Yeah, well, the best story I tell is we were over in Denmark and we're in Copenhagen because my missus, her cousin is the bloody right up there, some diplomat or whatever. And we were staying at their place. And I just Googled gun shops, and there was a gun shop in Copenhagen. I went down there, had my hat on, of course, the Aussie, I walked in, and it was upstairs, downstairs, and I wanted to have a look at these fine European guns type thing, And I said, mate, I want to have a look at some of your guns. Yeah, downstairs. I went down these spiral staircase, and as I was going down, this guy rang the gun library guys and said, hunting with Stu's coming down. He recognised me straight away. And the voices, I've gone down, I've walked up there and they've got all these stupid looks on their face like as if I've caught them out smoking behind them. And I said, how you going? And they went, the first bloke, he said, out of the blue, he's gone, I've always wanted to hunt pigs from a quad. And I thought, what a strange thing to say to a bloke that's just first come up to a counter. And I said, well, funny you should say that, mate, because I actually bloody, and then we know you're hunting with Stu.
Yeah. That's good.
Believe it, bloody right across the world.
But that's what's interesting is, we go shooting off the vehicles, we go shooting off the quad bikes, we go, 10-round magazines. Like in the States, they got so many restrictions. They can't shoot off vehicles, they can't shoot off quad bikes.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like sometimes they got like a three-round limit on their magazines.
Yeah.
They must just look at the stuff that we do and just think those guys are insane. They don't even have
that's right.
So it's just really interesting, all that sort of side stuff.
Then they always say, you need an AR platform. And I said, mate, I'll never be able to pick the brass up. It'd make me lazy. I'd be just firing off heaps of shots. At least with the bolt makes you bloody aim a bit more,
You'd need an ammunition sponsor then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, all right, mate. Well, I will end it there because we can always follow up with another conversation. It was been fantastic having a conversation with Stu, conversation with a shooter and a hunter, and I really appreciate it. And hopefully at the end of this video, I think there'll be a subscribe button for my channel, or otherwise you can hit it down here. But I'll also put a link. Maybe I'll put like your channel up here or something like that, and the boys can can click on your channel.
I've got to learn all that sort of stuff as well, how to collab and all that sort of, yeah.
Well, off channel, I'm more than happy to help you through that as a bit of a thank you for coming onto my channel. We can spend a bit of time. We can do this Zoom thing and all that sort of stuff like that. And guys, until next time, I always say, until next time, get out in the sun, get them big boars, have fun, and catch us later. What do you want to say to the boys?
Well, it's more of a serious thing. I just say, just take that extra second to go the heart or the bloody chest shot or the head shot. Just take that extra second.
All right, thanks very much. Thanks very much, Stu. And we'll catch you later and have fun. All right, see you, mate.
Right, Rob, see you.